Hi, I'm Maestro Attar, Music Director of the Pennsylvania Chamber Orchestra. I'm thrilled to be here with you this Sunday to present our 6th PCO Presents. A bittersweet moment for me, as today we will stream a few highlights from the last concert I conducted with the Pennsylvania Chamber Orchestra, and it was the wonderful Symphony in C by the French composer Georges Bizet. Bizet is of course known for his operatic music, and he didn't write much symphonic music. This symphony was written while he was studying at the Paris Conservatoire under the composer Charles Gounod, and it was evidently a student assignment. And since it was a school assignment, Bizet showed absolutely no interest in having it performed or published, and the piece was never played in his lifetime. The work is very virtuosic for the orchestra and of course full of youthful energy as expected from a 17 years old. You can hear Bizet's talent as an upcoming operatic composer with some incredibly beautiful melodies, for example the gorgeous and endless oboe melody in the second movement. This is a major excerpt for the oboe, and I will be discussing it among other topics with our wonderful and fantastic principal oboe Robin Dixon Costa. As always, we cannot wait until we can be back on stage to share music with all of you. But until then, please keep joining us for these Sunday performances. If you enjoy these, please consider supporting us. We know you believe in our mission, you trust our vision, and your support will ensure that we will continue to deliver first-class music performances to our community. Stay safe and healthy, and we send you our very best wishes for the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday. Hi everyone, I'm thrilled to have here with us today Robin Costa, the principal oboe of the Pennsylvania Chamber Orchestra. Hi Robin, thanks for joining us.
Hello, Yanni. It's so great to see you. I miss playing with you.
I miss making music with you. Trust me, it's been last concert we had was I think January, so it's been a long time, and who knows when we'll meet again? Hopefully soon. So before we start, can you maybe tell our audience a little bit about your musical background and activity and positions?
Oh, sure. I have 3 performance degrees in oboe, and I also have a teaching certificate in Alexander technique. And my husband and I kind of have the same resume for a while. We met at the University of Cincinnati where we did our undergrad, and we did our graduate work at Temple University. And then we did, a 2-year stint in Arkansas with Chamber Music America's Rural Residency Program.
Oh wow!
So we did chamber music in rural America for 2 years. It was fantastic. Unfortunately, the program doesn't exist anymore, but it was a pretty great thing, kind of bringing music into a rural place that wouldn't have access to classical music. And then we went on to do our doctorate degrees at Ohio State, and then we moved here. I currently play principal in Pennsylvania Chamber Orchestra, and I also play English horn in the Dayton Philharmonic, which is in Ohio, and we are also on a bit of a break, although they're doing some live streaming now with very limited performers. And I have my teaching, my Alexander technique teaching, so I'm doing a lot of that during this COVID time.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, so I mean, you're both obviously very busy performers, especially, I mean, when you have to travel. I don't know how long it takes for you to travel to Ohio for concerts, but how are you dealing now as a performer with this COVID things? Aside from missing music, how do you keep mentally sane, should I say?
Right. I mean, it's so hard, isn't it? I know you feel it too. It's so hard. And so much of my work is traveling and making music in person or working in person with other people. So I think when we went back in March, it was just kind of a shock. How do we move our college classes online? and how do we just get through the day, and how do we figure out how to get food from the grocery store. And now I'm thankful that I can help my daughter with her remote learning with first grade. I think her teachers are amazing. And I feel like so many people, I mean, we're all struggling in certain respects, but I do feel, I feel lucky that I can kind of use this time to reflect on what's important, and and to be with my family, and prepare for the next thing.
I think it's great, because I think not just as individual artists like yourself to do that, but I think I'm looking at it from the other side, is orchestras have to rethink with this time out of how to reconnect to our audience. How do we want to be when we come back, to be perceived, and how can we stay relevant to our audience during this time? So I think, but yeah, defining priorities and all this, I love that. So how long have you been playing with the Pennsylvania Chamber Orchestra?
I've been playing with them ever since I moved here, which was fall of 2008. Okay. So at that time, Tim Hertz was the principal of a player, and he was so, he and I are dear friends, and love playing together. And so he invited me into the orchestra, and then when he stepped down, then I moved from the second position to the principal position, and it's been great.
And you've played both. I remember since I've been with the orchestra, I've heard you play both in the principal oboe, and also with some of our famous English horn solos. I still remember when you did the
Rodrigo.
The Rodrigo and the Aranjuez, with a beautiful, beautiful English horn solo, which you've played beautifully. So that's one of my biggest memories from from the concerts. So the concert that we're going to play for our audience today was the concert, our last concert from January, at the School of Music. And the piece that we will feature will be the Bizet Symphony, which of course has the wonderful oboe solo. And I remember when I was looking at the score and studying it, and I'm looking through the movement, and I'm thinking, where is she going to breathe? Because it's just endless. But maybe you could tell us a little bit about what this solo means to you, or what are the challenges with these solos, with this particular solo of the Bizet. Anything that you can share with our audience that, maybe not familiar with it.
Sure. Well, I'll just share my experiences with this piece. I learned it, of course, as an undergrad, as an oboe excerpt. And then I was thrilled. When I was in graduate school, I did the North Carolina School of the Arts used to have a European tour that they did every year. They did it for about 20 years under Sergei Zeneker. And so one summer I did that, I auditioned for there, and I did that. And it was great. We toured all over Europe. And one of the pieces that we toured with was the Bizet Symphony in C. And in fact, I have my music here that I pulled out today that has the coffee stain on it.
It's a well-loved part.
It's well-loved. It's been around. I think for me, that's a dear memory from being in my early 20s and touring around Europe with this piece, and also figuring out my own style of playing and figuring out what the composer wanted. So when I was in my early 20s, I really wanted to play that second movement solo so romantically. It just screams romance, right? And I really wanted to do all kinds of liberties with it. And in fact, this is it's not so romantic. It's a little more classical. It's a little more light, and so to have to grow with it. And I remember when we played it with you in January that I took a little bit of time in that slow movement solo, and I remember you saying, "No, we need to move it along," and I was like, "Ah."
Oh.
Meaning, of course we do. Of course we do. I know better now. You were right. Zeneker was, Maestro Zeneker was right when I played it in the early 20s, in my early 20s.
But I want to enjoy it.
Right. It was so funny. It was like, it just really brought me back to that place. There are long phrases in the first movement and the second movement, especially. The phrases aren't as hard as the intonation, to tell you the truth, because it's such
Okay.
a clear piece and it's so open, and there's nowhere to hide in it.
Yeah.
So as long as you can kind of be a little, grounded before you start, like if you're nervous before you start, you're kind of sunk. But um,
You didn't sound like you were nervous.
the phrasing is not as hard as, or the breathing is not as hard as just having this kind of calm, lyrical demeanor when you play, and getting the intonation right. And especially there's one measure in the second movement and the slow movement that you kind of go back and forth with the second oboe player, and kind of really, beating that, getting that kind of seamless connection.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part.
Yeah. No, but it's so rewarding though. I remember when we finished that movement, and it was just so magical. So bravo, and I know our audience will. Those who were at the concert will enjoy it, and those who weren't at the concert are definitely going to enjoy it.
It is such a fun piece, right? And he wrote it when he was, what, 17?
Something like that. And, he never even he wrote it and put it aside. I don't think he heard it in his lifetime. They discovered it, I think he died very young. And they discovered after his death, and it's such a, it's just fun to play. There's so much youthful energy.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to say. When you put it in that context, this was a school assignment. He wrote it when he was 17, and then he kind of put it away, and it's got that youthful verve, and the last movement is just so fun. I mean,
well, I don't know about you, but I wasn't that creative in my 17-year-old school assignments. One last question I wanted to ask you. Now that you said you've been in the orchestra, so it's been 12 years. I would love to hear what it meant, or what it means to you. What it means to you to be playing with this group all this time, and have you seen your evolvement in the group over the years?
It's a wonderful group to play in. It really is. I mean, they welcomed me in, which I'm always appreciative of. Good musicians, led by good people, and it's hard to say everything that it means to me. I get to play with my husband. I don't always get to do that anymore. We met in a woodwind quintet, actually, way back in our undergrad years. We met playing in the woodwind quintet. But now I get to play in an orchestra with him, which is lovely. And we get to fight over interpretation.
I love it. I love it when sometimes in the orchestra, when you and him have a duo going back and forth, and I can see you kind of leaning to each other. I don't know if you're aware of it. It's just, I think it's the best kind of chamber music making in the orchestra, and it's just a joy to watch.
It's lovely to be in a chamber orchestra because it's so intimate like that.
But I love what you said about the interpretation things. Yeah. I think it was one time you emailed me because you had an argument about a certain note, and you said, it's in this piece, yeah. And you're like, he thinks it's this, and I think it's this, and I think you won. So sorry, Tony.
No, I love that because that was in the trio of this piece.
Yes, exactly.
And there's a slight interpretation whether something could be a major seventh or minor seventh interval, and I had learned it one way, and I was like, and before we played with you, we played together, Because sometimes we'll do that before, if we're playing in a group, we'll practice together. And we practice together, and I'm like, you were playing that wrong. You didn't play on that. And then we emailed you, and you sided with me, and I was really happy. Mostly because I didn't want to relearn what I'd learned 25 years ago.
I should do an interview with Tony and get his side of the story.
I remember thinking, oh, please, I hope I don't have to learn that.
Well, you didn't, and again, it was you both are such an incredible asset to this orchestra and to the community, and I second what you said. I really miss making music with the orchestra and with you and Tony as our, from our principal wins. So thank you so much, Robin, for.
I do want to say one more thing, and that is I'm so thrilled that a community our size, State College, has a chamber orchestra. I mean, it's really, really, it's just really special that we can do that, and
I'm personally thrilled that, from over the years that we finally found a beautiful home to play, and that it really reflects the sound of the orchestra as we've never had before. So thank you so much, Robin, for joining us, for your beautiful playing and for your incredible musicianship. I hope you are staying healthy and safe. Say hi to your family, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you. I hope the same for you too.
Thank you, so Robin.
Hi, I'm Anna Skrupke, Executive Director and occasional horn sub in the Pennsylvania Chamber Orchestra. Thank you for spending some time with us today. While we can't perform live right now, we're happy we can connect with you through this series. If you're enjoying the programs, please consider a financial gift to the orchestra. Donations of any size are greatly appreciated and help us continue our mission of bringing live classical music to our community. Donations can be made at the website listed at the bottom of your screen. Please join us in 2 weeks while we start our presentation of the Holiday Celebration concert from last season with guest conductor Russ Shelley and our friends at the State College Choral Society. For full information on the PCO Presents series and on the orchestra itself, visit our website or find us on Facebook. Thank you so much for your support, and please be well.
Thank you.